All right, let's do a quick review on decimal, guys. I mean, I want to make sure you know how to add, subtract, multiply. Okay, I don't have to do adding, subtracting. They're pretty easy. What about multiplying decimal numbers? How do we do something like that? So just for practice, do something as easy as this. Okay, in the past, I hope you remember that the method is drop the decimal. I don't care what they look like at this point. I'm just going to assume that this is just 35 and this is 12, and I just multiply normally. You see it? So this is 10, 6 plus 1 is 7, and this is 5 and 3, right? Simple enough. 0, 12, here's the 1, so this is 420. Not quite done. I go back and count my decimal places. I have 1, 2. That tells me to move back 2 places to the left-hand side. So I go 1, 2, and so my answer is 4.2, and that's how we multiply decimals. Pretty easy, right? Now division is definitely different, and I want to make sure. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay, so I want to make sure that we can all divide correctly. And I think the most problematic is the one on the back side, number 3. It says, what is the quotient that you divide the greatest number by the least number, and the greatest number happens to be 5.95. Oh, there it is. It's a bit slow. Whoa. Whoa. Ghosts. Okay. 5.95. And the least number is 0.034. Okay, so this is something that you have a problem with. But remember, the rule of thumb is, if there's a decimal outside, make it into a whole number. How do I turn this into a whole number? Yes? Exactly. In this case, you move it to the right how many times? 3 times. That turns it into 34. But if you're going to move it 3 times to the right, you have to do something in the inside as well. You have to move the same thing 3 times to the right. So 1, 2, 3. So that means you're adding another 0. So this becomes 5,950. See that? So is it hard now? A lot of people actually make that mistake for number 3, and I want to point this out to you. Otherwise, you will be making the same mistake when you see another problem like this. So first of all, 34 goes into 59 how many times?
10. No, 1.
34 goes into 59 exactly 1 time, right? Because if it's 2 times, it's going to be too big. So 1 time, here's your 34, subtracted, you would have 5 and 25, right? Correct? You bring down your 5, so now you say 34 goes into 255. How many times? 7 times. So 7 times 4 is?
8.
8? 28, so 8 keeps it 2. 7 times 3 is 21 plus the 2? 23. That becomes what?
13.
7, 1, right? 17? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then you bring down the 0. 34 goes into 170 how many times?
5.
5 times. And let me see if I can do an extension. Ooh, good, see? It worked. So 5 times, it will be 170 exactly. So you end up with a 0 remainder, and your answer is 175. Some people give you an answer like 0.0000 something for an answer. Like, make sure you know how to do this correctly. Okay, we're good with decimal review? Okay, move on to fraction review. Let's see. See, this thing doesn't pop up. Magic. Now it works. Okay. If you don't see the light goes on, let me know. Okay, so fraction review. Learn how to add, learn how to subtract, fraction, multiply, and divide. I hope it's easy enough at this point, but we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong, right? So imagine I have something like this. Yes, easy problem. Can we add them?
No.
Is the answer 5 over 9, 7?
No.
No. What's going on? Good. We need to have the same denominator, right? Good job. Okay, so in this case, what is our denominator?
12.
12. Okay, so we know our LCD is going to be 12. How do we make this top number into 12?
Multiply that by 4.
Multiply that by 4. So we multiply this by 4. What else do we have to do? The top by 4 as well. Numerator by 4. So our answer on top here is going to be 8. Same thing here. 4 times what is 12?
3.
3, in this case, it's going to be
9.
9. So it's going to be 17 over 12, right? Let me pause this for a moment. So any question on this one? What format is this? What format is this? What is this called? Improper fraction. Great. It's called improper fraction. How do we take improper and convert it back to mixed number form?
Divide.
Divide. Good. So 12 goes into 17.
1.
One time. So we know that the remainder is 5, and I do a loop around here. Here we go. So it's going to be 1, 5 over 12. And that's how we turn it into a mixed number. Okay? Question on how to do that. So we know how to add. Ideally, subtraction is the same way, right? So let's jump right straight into multiplication and see how we get that out of the way. Okay, so multiplication problem. Imagine I have this. Let's make it a bit harder here. 4 and 2/5. These are called mixed number. Improper means there's the top number is bigger than the bottom, but it's still in the fraction form, right? So can we multiply as is right now, or do we have to do something to this problem? Okay, we have to make them improper. And how do we change 2 and 3/4 into improper?
4 times 2 and plus 3.
Good. So we multiply up and add up, right? So it's going to be 4 times 2 add 3, which becomes 11 over 4. And notice I don't want to use this anymore because that's old school. I'm going to use this dot right here for multiplication. What else can I use besides using a dot? Parentheses. Very good. So 4 2/5. How do I change that to improper? Okay, so the answer is here what? 22 over 5. Okay. So here's the next thing though. Would you like to? Okay, well, what's the next step though? How do we multiply? Across like this? Like cross multiply or just across? Across, right. So we just multiply across, but here's our dilemma. 11 times 22? Those two numbers are huge. I can't do it. It's too hard. So now what?
11 times 1.
I mean, we can technically set up, oh yeah, I can take 22 times 11 right here and do it, right? But remember the trick is, if we can simplify our numbers, we should. And then I realized something. I realized that, hey, look at 22 and 4. They have a common divisor of 2. You see it? So because they have a common divisor of 2, I can divide both by 2. That will become what on top here? 11. And the bottom is?
2.
2. So now if I rewrite my problem again, this is what I see. Right? But do we all know what 11 times 11 is?
100.
Exactly. At least it's a lot easier to multiply this time. So it's 11 times 11 is 121 over 10. And there you have it. So if you can simplify first, simplify before you actually multiply. Questions on how to do this? Yes?
Do you convert that to a mixed number?
If I ask you to. But for the homework tonight, leave it in improper form. Okay? Because it won't allow you to do it in the mixed number form. Okay, any question on that? We're good, right? Okay. Next one, division. I have 2 ways to do this, and I hope that you pick out the way that you want to go with and stick with it, because I don't want you to ever get confused. So here's your division problem. Let's make it a bit harder here if I can. 4 and 3/7 divided by 12/5. Yeah, I know. I hate you guys, that's why. I have to give you a harder problem. How do we divide? Yes. Good. So every time I see a mixed number, rule of thumb, convert it back into improper right away. So this becomes 31 over 7 divided by 12 over 5, right? Next step. Yes. Yes. Good. So change the division into multiplication. However, what else do you have to do? Okay, so what is that process called? Yes. Reciprocal. Great. Okay, so 31 over 7 times now. Notice I take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which becomes 5 over 12. And there you have it, right? Now, I'm trying to see if we have any common divisor. Can't find it, so just multiply right across. 31 times 5,
155.
155. 7 times 12, 84. And you know, you can just leave it like that, or if I ask you to convert it back into a mixed number, you should. But that's our first answer. Any questions so far? Okay, so that's something else. Like I said, I have something else to show you, because that's how it is. That's how we roll in this class. Let me try to group. Yes, group. Make it smaller. Put it over here. Okay, so here's another way. So assuming I'm going to take it as is from there, I have 31 over 7 divided by 12 over 5. Okay. This time I don't do the flipping, which is a reciprocal, or turn it into a multiplication problem. I leave it as is. Instead of doing that, I find myself the common denominator. What is the common denominator for 7 and 5? 35. Okay. 7 times what is 35? 5. So 7 times 5 is 35. I also have to multiply that to the top as well. 31 times 5 is 155. And same thing over here. 5 times what is 35? 7. So I multiply that to the top as well. And 12 times 7 is 84. And watch this. I divide right across. 155 divided by 84. And of course 35 divided by 35 is 1. I don't care about it. But look at our answers. Same thing. Okay. And I'm done. That's how we review our fractions.